under attack.
We have some planes. Just stay quiet and you'll be okay.
Chilling tapes of the chaos, confusion, and mistakes in America's air defenses on 9/11. Could some lives have been saved? Deadly bomb. Iraqis targets again. Dozens killed in a violent run-up to the handover. God and politics. Should the Catholic Church weigh in on the presidential campaign? And the younger Ron Reagan. Choice words for President Bush. And graduation. Sights and sounds of commencement 2004.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. 9/11 was a day of utter chaos, confusion, contradiction, wrong signals, and mixed signals on the ground, in the air, and also in the highest echelons of the U.S. government. That's the conclusion of the bipartisan commission investigating the worst attacks on American soil in this country's history. The critical issue quickly became who's in charge of America's skies and what could be done about the hijacked airliners. We have two reports. We'll begin with NBC's Lisa Myers.
8:24, the first ominous sign. American Flight 11 from Boston. A hijacker believed to be Mohammed Atta thinks he's talking only to passengers, but keys the wrong microphone and speaks to FAA controllers.
We have some planes. Just stay quiet and you'll be okay. We're turning to the airport. Nobody move. Everything will be okay. If you try to make any move, you'll injure yourself and the airplane. Just stay quiet.
Minutes later,
Nobody move, please. We're going back to the airport. Don't try to make any stupid moves.
8:37. The FAA informs the military of the hijacking, but by the time jets scramble, it's too late. At 8:46, the plane hits the North Tower of the World Trade Center. By 9, the magnitude of the problem is setting in. The FAA in New York contacts the National Command Center.
We have several situations going on here. It's escalating big time. And we need to get the military involved with this. We're involved with something else. We have other aircraft that may have a similar situation going on here.
Flight 175 is spotted heading for Manhattan.
All right, heads up, man. It looks like another one. All right.
At 9:03, that plane hits the South Tower, just as the military is finally told it's been hijacked. By then, FAA controllers are searching for another missing plane, Flight 77, which is turned around and is heading undetected back toward Washington, D.C. By the time it's noticed and the military informed, again, it's too late. The plane crashes into the Pentagon. 9:39, a transmission from United Flight 93 from Newark. Hijacker Ziad Jarrah.
Here's the captain. I would like to remain seated. We're all aboard and are going to back to the airport and we have our demand to remain quiet.
Cleveland controllers urge FAA superiors to call the military to launch fighters, but no one makes a decision, and the military is not alerted. 10:03, thanks to heroic passengers, a plane destined for the White House or the Capitol crashes into a field in Pennsylvania.
I think headquarters blew it. I mean, there was no information delivered to the military that a plane was coming into Washington, D.C. And again, thank God the passengers of 93 took the plane.
Thinking the plane is still headed for Washington, Vice President Cheney authorizes the military to shoot it down. But the commission says that order is never passed on to the pilots patrolling Washington and New York City. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
This is Robert Hager in Washington, where investigators said the military and the FAA were simply not prepared for such an unexpected attack, and said poor communications led to chaos. From disbelief at first.
So we need someone to scramble some F-16s or something up there to help us out.
Is this real world or exercise?
No, this is not an exercise, not a test.
Then indecision.
Do we want to think about scrambling aircraft?
Oh, God, I don't know.
That's a decision somebody's going to have to make probably in the next 10 minutes.
Everybody just left the room.
And there was confusion, like this exchange after the first two planes had already hit the Trade Center, including the American Airlines Flight 11.
Okay, so American 11 isn't the hijack at all then, right?
No, he is a hijack.
The American 11 is a hijack?
Yes.
And he's going into Washington?
This could be a third aircraft.
some F-16s scrambled in the wrong direction, out to sea. And fighter pilots weren't told it was hijacked planes they were looking for. When one saw the Pentagon had been hit, he said he reverted to the Russian threat. I'm thinking cruise missile from the sea. I thought the bastards, the Russians, snuck one by us. Meantime, communications were so bad, the president in Florida had to use a cell phone to reach Washington. And when the decision was finally made to shoot down any remaining hijacked plane, there was confusion about that.
The region commander has declared that we can shoot down aircraft that did not respond to our direction. Copy that? EO's saying no. You got a conflict on that direction?
In any event, it was all too late. Only 9 minutes' notice was the most the military ever got that day before any of the 4 hijacked planes crashed. Now, the commission says it's been told things have been fixed, especially communications. But some worry. Just last week, because of a mix-up about a plane, the whole U.S. Capitol had to be evacuated. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
And President Bush today personally challenged one of the most provocative conclusions of the 9/11 Commission, that there was no collaborative relationship between Saddam Hussein and al-Qaeda. Today, despite that conclusion, President Bush insisted there was a relationship between the two. NBC David Gregory has more tonight from the White House. David?
And Tom, both the president and the vice president today denied the suggestions that they in any way exaggerated the connection between Saddam Hussein's regime and al-Qaeda. Both today said there is solid evidence that supports not only the claim of contacts between those two, but some collaboration. And the president, speaking to reporters again today, attempted to justify taking out Saddam.
He's a threat because he was a sworn enemy to the United States of America, just like al-Qaeda. He was a threat because he had terrorist connections, not only al-Qaeda connections, but other connections to terrorist organizations. Abu Nadal is one. He was a threat because he provided safe haven for a terrorist like Zarqawi, who is still killing innocent inside of Iraq.
The vice president, in an interview with CNBC's Capitol Report, elaborated on the connection between Iraq and al-Qaeda-linked terrorist Abu Musab al-Zarqawi.
He was allowed to operate out of Baghdad. He ran the poisons factory in northern Iraq out of Baghdad, which became a safe harbor for Ansar al-Islam as well as al-Qaeda fleeing Afghanistan. There clearly was a relationship there that stretched back over that period of time to at least May of '02, a year before we launched into Iraq.
White House officials who are certainly feeling the strain of these questions today seized on a comment by the Democratic co-chairman of the 9/11 Commission. Lee Hamilton said today that he does not see much different between administration statements and the Commission's report. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC David Gregory at the White House tonight. And in Iraq, today brought the deadliest terrorist attack since February. A car bomb outside a recruiting center killed 35 Iraqis and injured 138 more as they waited in line to sign up for the Iraqi army. With more on today's bloody attack and who's likely behind it, NBC's Richard Engel tonight in Baghdad.
Survivors say they didn't notice the SUV pull up among the crowd of about 100 people. They were busy trying to sign up for the new Iraqi army. But within seconds, it was all too clear what had happened. The car was packed with artillery shells.
The car bomb was entering this base, and once again, it was Iraqis who were the targets.
Government officials blamed Jordanian Abu Musab al-Zarqawi and his al-Qaeda-linked network.
Those suicide bombers, they are not Iraqis. We are quite sure and confident they are not Iraqis, and we have a very good indications that they came from abroad.
A top U.S. official today said this week's violence shows Zarqawi is shifting tactics in the run-up to the June 30th handover, with attacks now frequent, less sophisticated, and against soft targets like civilian contractors and Iraqi soldiers. Men like Raed Sneid, out of work for a year. He was waiting to sign up as a recruit when the bomb went off. The promise of $350 a month, 3 times what he earned as a captain in Saddam's army, would help him feed his family.
Many of these people here say that they do, despite what happened today, want to re-enlist in the Iraqi army, and that that's what they have every intention of doing as soon as they get out of the hospital.
They're needed now. The U.S. hopes Iraqi forces will take the lead in providing security, which may also mean taking more of the casualties. Richard Engel, NBC News, Baghdad.
In Washington, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld today acknowledged that he ordered an Iraqi prisoner to be held off the books for more than 7 months without informing the International Red Cross, as we reported last night. Asked if the intent was to hide the prisoner from the Red Cross, Rumsfeld replied, quote, "Not on my part." Rumsfeld also flatly denied that the prisoner faced abuse in prison. And American authorities have arrested a CIA contractor on charges of criminal abuse of an Afghan detainee. 38-year-old David Pissarro, a former Army Ranger, is charged with beating Afghan prisoner Abdul Wal to death during interrogation in June of last year. The CIA issued a statement saying that the agency does not support or condone unlawful activities of any kind. Pissarro could face 40 years in prison and $1 million in fine if convicted for Wali's death. Still ahead tonight, NBC News in depth, God and politics. Where is the line that separates church and state in this election year? And later, some of the great graduation speeches of 2004. NBC News in depth tonight, the fine line between church and state. Should the clergy be speaking out against candidates who don't follow church teachings? That's an issue that America's Catholic bishops are going to have to face head on as they gather in Colorado this week. NBC's Roger O'Neill tonight on the tricky intersection of religion and politics in America.
With their Bibles, signs, and voices,
oh Lord, we've struggled so long.
Some of the faithful are hoping to persuade American Catholic bishops, their leaders, to reject the latest explosive issue facing the church, playing politics with God.
The bishops who are threatening to withhold reception of communion have lost their sense of direction.
The Archbishop of St. Louis, Raymond Burke, lit the fuse in January, saying he'd refuse communion to Senator John Kerry, a Catholic, because he's pro-choice, defying church law. Then last month, Michael Sheridan, Archbishop of Colorado Springs, shortened the burning fuse, writing, even rank-and-file Catholics who vote for sinners should stay away from the communion rail. Senator Kerry is said to be uncomfortable with all the talk about his faith.
Catholicism is not defined by one issue. There are many things that are of concern,
including war and poverty, according to the senator. The church and politics have certainly crossed paths before. With 63 million Catholics in this country, they are a constituency no politician can afford to offend or ignore.
You are respected, admired.
Even non-Catholic President Bush this month is said to have solicited the Pope to urge the bishops here to more aggressively support his man-woman marriage amendment. Papal biographer and NBC analyst George Weigel thinks church integrity, not politics, is driving the bishops.
Political choices are always moral choices. No one gets a pass from conscience because the choice at hand is a political choice. It just doesn't work.
But for Catholics who sit in the pews, like Denver's Amy Schieber Howard, communion shouldn't be used as a weapon.
Communion is all about unity.
The body of Christ.
Which, if denied, could divide rather than unite. Roger O'Neill, NBC News, Denver.
Words were the weapon today when President Reagan's son Ron spoke out about the Bush presidency. You'll hear what he had to say when NBC Nightly News continues in a moment. The number of Americans who say they approve the way President Bush is doing his job has gone up in the last month, according to a new survey. A poll released today by the respected Pew Research Center shows the president's current approval rating is now 48%, up from 44% a month ago. The new numbers reflect an increase in support after the death of former President Reagan, but before the 9/11 Commission's report. And it was President Reagan's son, Ronald Prescott Reagan, who had some choice words today for President Bush, and they were not words of approval. He told MSNBC's Chris Matthews that administration officials have no business invoking the Reagan name to justify war in Iraq.
Father never felt the need to wrap himself in anybody else's mantle. He never felt the need to pretend to be anybody else. I don't know what's wrong with these people that they have to keep invoking him. This is their administration. This is their war. If they can't stand on their own 2 feet, well, they're no Ronald Reagans, that's for sure.
Ron Prescott Reagan, interviewed by Chris Matthews, and there will be much more of that discussion tomorrow morning on Today and tomorrow night at 8, 7 Central Time on Dateline NBC on this NBC station. On Wall Street today, stocks dipped slightly lower as a rise in oil prices provoked more inflation fears. The Dow was down just over 2 points. The NASDAQ dropped 14.5 points by the end of the day. And the elated Detroit Pistons are partying with their fans tonight. Thousands line the streets of Motor City for a parade to celebrate their NBA championship, a crushing defeat over the Los Angeles Lakers. I'll be back with more after this. The class of 2004, graduation time across America, and what a 4 years it has been. For these graduating seniors entered college, Bill Clinton was president. Osama bin Laden was a little-known terrorist out there somewhere, and the World Trade Center was a towering fixture on the Manhattan skyline. Tonight, our annual tribute to the special time across the country, the class of 2004.
That's kind of scary.
The best few years of my life, I can truly say that. I'd do it all over again.
I can't believe this is really happening. Like, how did these 4 years go by so fast? We're not just going through the motions of this graduation.
Family, friends, it's time to take your seat.
What about your lives? What piece of wisdom can I impart to you about my journey that will somehow ease your transition from college back to your parents' basement?
It's a beautiful day. I am so proud of you.
But you earned your degrees, and you too can leave today with high hopes. I speak with some authority here. I've seen how things can work out pretty well for a C student.
I want you to know you've actually given me more power as a presidential candidate than I've had in all my time in public life, because I am all that stands between you and your degrees.
This world demands the qualities of youth, not a time of life, but a state of mind. A predominance of courage over timidity, of the appetite for adventure over the love of ease. It is a revolutionary world we live in, and it is young people who must take the lead.
You are ready. By your hard work, your motivation, your commitment, and the gifts you have been given here, you are ready.
Great. Congratulations.
William Wayne Overby.
Christine Hatsue Watanabe.
Go forth to perform your duty, to protect this nation's honor and to help it become a still more perfect union. Go forth in the certain knowledge that all you will eventually leave behind are your good name, your good works, and the blessings of your children.
And for you, in this huge world, it becomes urgent that you regain and reclaim a sense of speaking out of the passion of what you believe in. Not looking for agreement, but looking for disagreement and learning how to work with it.
Class of 2004, you are dismissed.
Learn to find peace because you are the peacemakers of the future. We so need you right now.
I'm proud to send you off, the class of 2004, to make the world a better place.
The idea that anything is possible. That's one of the reasons I'm a fan of America. It's like, hey, look, there's the moon up there. Let's take a walk on it. Well, this is the time for bold measures. And this is the country. And you are the generation.
Great job, man.
I love you. I'll call you, okay?
Take care, man. Good luck. Appreciate it. Kind of sad, like leaving, but we got to move on.
Congratulations to the class of 2004 and their parents, and our thanks to producer Donna Bass and editor Jody Hennenfeld for their fine work on that project. That's Nightly News for this Thursday. I'm Tom Brokaw.